Di's Dan, and this week I would like to show you how I made this card. It's a pillar card again, and this time it stands up, so it's a what can I call it? A one-sided pillow? Pillar card number 2, we're going to call it. So now this was my very first one, and as you can see, it's a little bit because I designed this myself not knowing how I was going to do this bit here, and it's too wobbly for me, like my liking. So even though it's a beautiful card, and I will still use it because, you know, nobody else will know that it's not how it's supposed to be. So that was my first one, and again I did a Christmas card, so let's pop that one out of the way. Then I did this version of it. Now this version is that I made 2 of these pillars, and then I glued one on each side, and with this sandwich between it. But again, I didn't like the way you could see the join top and bottom. So it was another one. It's nice and sturdy. It does, and it still lays flat. It goes into a 7x5 inch envelope, and it's still very nice. I mean, it's not unusable or anything like that, but it was like, there has to be something better I can do there. So version number 3 is 2 columns, but there's no gap down here. So this is the one we're going to do. So I'm going to show you how I did this so that there is no gap here, and it's not a matter of just sticking another piece on the end afterwards. So this was done with some beautiful paper that my mum gave me a few years back now, and I thought, oh, that'd make a lovely card. So that was the one I've got for you today, and I'm going to do mine in basic grey this week because I have a blog coming up about, it will be a couple of weeks before the video goes live, so because I'm actually a little bit ahead. So for my blog hop, and the colour is basic grey, so I'm going to incorporate the 2 into one. So I'm going to make this card, which is pillar card number 2, and I'm going to show you how I made it. There you go. So we're going to use this set here, which is called Forever Fern, which is, I'm so happy has gone over into the next catalogue. So it's really great, and I love this set. So I didn't bring the dies over. Oh, yes, I did. I brought the dies over because I'm going to use the dies. So it comes with a set of dies. It's not a bundle anymore, so you buy them separately, so you can't. And this has got some beautiful dies in here. Oops. Normally I have them in the pack here, but this is one set I haven't put in there. I don't know why. So I've used these 2 dies here, which I will show you when we get to that part. Oops. I wonder it won't go together very well. But turn that around there and it'll go back into the container, the sleeve, really well. So that's what we're going to use, and we're going to use this one, and we're going to use this leaf here and this bobbly leaf, and Love and Laughter Ever After, a friend that makes you smile. Maybe, no, I might just put hello on the back. I'm not actually 100% sure what I'm going to put on the back yet with it. So I think I might put a friend. So let me get that stamp out too. A friend. Oh gosh, come out of there. There we go. So I'll pop that on the end of my block there, and that's what we're going to use. I've cut myself a bow. This is something else that I thought was really great for an in colour. This is oh gosh, no, I can't think what it's called. Evening Evergreen. So I think that's what it's called. It should say on here. Round we go. It actually doesn't say. Oh yes, it does. Evening Evergreen. So, and that has been carried over to the new catalogue as well. So we're going to pop that onto there, and I have some beautiful of the Evening Evergreen opal rounds, so I'm going to be using those as well. So let's pop them out of the way, and we'll show you what we need. So I've already done my cutting out for my leaves, so that's my leaves. I'm going to pop them on one side for now. this is all my other pieces, and I didn't go sticking everything together today like I did last time, but I will tell you what we need. Okay, so we need a main card piece, and now this goes into a 7x5 envelope that measures 6 inches by 5 inches. And then we need another piece for our pillars that measures 10 inches by 5 inches. For my front and my back, sorry about that, we need 2 layers that measure 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. Now for my front layer, I've got some DSP that finishes up at the end of June. So by the time this video goes live, it would have been finished, but it was still within my time frame for me to do my card for the colour creation. So, and this measures 4.5 by 4.5, and our panel for the back of the card measures 4.5 by 4.5. For my columns, or my pillars, I've got 4 pieces of the same basic grey, and they measure 3/4 of an inch, by 4 3/4 of an inch, and my pieces of designer series paper that measure 1/2 inch by 4.5 inches. For my end panel, this piece measures 4 3/4 by 1 3/4, and my designer series paper measures 4.5 by 1.5. So let's pop all them out of the way for a minute, and we're going to start with our piece that measures, got this around the wrong way, a piece that measures 5 inches by 10 inches. So I forgot to bring my trimmer over. I'll just go grab it. Okay, I've got my trimmer here, and I'm going to start by scoring on the long side with my score tool. And as always, we're using the small end, and I'm going to score this at 1. Now I need to see what those measurements are. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's all the scoring we're going to do. Now if you wanted to, like in our Ask cards, you can always put a little mark on these end ones, but because it's one piece, we don't need to. So we're just going to bring in our trimmer, and we're going to trim that 1/8 of an inch off again like before. So we're going to pop this in here so that you can just not see that brown mark, that brown line there. I'm going to do that on both ends, so that this helps it to sit more square. So we're just going to do that with both of those, and that's all the bits of trimming we're going to do. So with this piece of card, we're going to now fold and burnish all of these score lines on both sides. And as before, you will notice when you pop that over, you can just see your score line down here, the middle one. So that's 1, 2, 3, the 4th score line. You're going to be able to see that, and again here you're going to be able to see the 6th score line at the 6 inch mark. So we're going to pop a bit of glue onto this first one here, the very last or first column, the very first column. And we're going to pull that over on top of that so that it glues down onto this long piece in the middle. So if we bring this over, we'll do it again, we'll bring this over in half so that you can see the score line before the 2 inch piece in the middle. And we're going to, whoops, pop our glue. Oh, come on, get on there. And then we're going to pop this over, close that up, over on top of that. So now our piece looks like this with two pieces in the middle together. So we're just going to pop that down nice and tight along this edge. So I'm just going to make sure that it's down nice and tight along that edge. But we don't want this piece to be stuck together in the middle. So we have our piece like this now with two columns with a, looks a bit like binoculars I suppose. Woohoo! Can you see me? So that's our card piece, and now we're going to bring in our main card piece, which is the 5 inches by 6 inches. And what we're going to do now is we're going to open this up and we're going to pop some glue on this, on one side only. And we're going to pop this in here as far back as it will go, making sure that it is flush with the top and the bottom, and then we're going to pop it down and glue it into place. So we want it in there as close can be against that edge between the two of them. Okay, so that it's right squashed in there. And then we're going to pop glue onto the other side here. Like so. Fold that one over like we have. So it's nice and tight. And now we have a piece of card that is glued into the middle of that. See, that's not going to come apart now, and this is as back as far as it can, and it's flush with the top and with the bottom. And at this stage it doesn't matter which way up your top and the bottom is. Okay, so now we're going to pop our front panel on, which is our, this is 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, and this piece is the 4.5 by 4.5. So we're going to pop them on together. And if you've got a design that is any particular way up, making sure that once you put it on the front of the card, it is the way up that you want it. So I want it that way, so that's why I moved it around so that I can get it the correct way. So I'm going to pop this onto the front of the card now, like so. So when you're putting it on the front of the card, push it down flat so that this piece is away from you, the column or the pillar, so that you can pop that onto the front of the card nice and flat like so. And then we can pop this up nice again. So then we're going to take our 4 pieces, which I should have glued some of these together before I started, but I didn't, and glue them all together. So let's pop all of those on one side. Let's pop them there and those there. And we will glue these all onto these. Stand still. Let's pop some glue on all of these. It won't take very long to do that. Oops. And then we can glue all of these onto these pieces of grey. Now this is basic grey on grey. I'm not sure what grey this other one is. Slate grey, I think it is. A slate, smoky slate is the colour on the DSP in this case. Oops, that's better. Now mine stuck there, so my little piece here is going to go pop back on there, because I'm not going to go and spend the time trying to cut another piece out and pop it over the top. So there we go, that's my piece that's on there. You can't even see where it was. And if I pop that on an inside one, you're never going to see it anyway. So we're going to now glue these to the small columns here. So I'm laying it flat again. Making sure that I've got them up the correct way if you've got a directional pattern that you need to know that it's directional. I'm putting that piece where I glued the other bit back onto it, onto the back inside one, so that it is less visible. I don't think anybody will notice it. If I don't like it, I will actually replace that, but we'll wait and see how I feel. Okay, so that's our panels on the other side. Now for our end panel here, this one here, which you can see is flush, we've got our other piece here, and we're going to glue those together and pop them on the end. And I just think that looks so much neater doing that rather than making two columns and then gluing them together. And it doesn't take any more card stock than to do it the other way. So once you're happy with that, you can just lay it down, make sure they're all nice and flat. There we go. So all nice and flat like so. So that's the main part of our card. We're going to bring in our back of our card now, which is another piece that is 4 3/4 by 4 3/4 and 4 1/2 by 4 1/2. And I'm going to stamp, excuse me, this piece here with my basic grey. And I'm just going to pop basic grey ones here and here like so. I'm not worrying about them overlapping because leaves overlap. And then I'm going to pop this one in the middle like so. And then let's pop this piece under here because I don't want it to go onto my top on the edge like that, just so that it's just showing. And then I'll pop this off the block and put this one onto the block, and I will stamp this here that says, "To a friend that makes me smile," like so. And I forgot to put my saying on the front here, which is going to be "Love and laughter forever after." So I'm actually going to do this now. I'm just going to make sure that it's going to stamp nicely. Yep. Because I'm stamping directly onto my designer series paper, so I need to make sure it's on there. So I need to push it down and leave it down there for a little while to make sure that it's coming off beautifully. And that's just perfect. Right, just perfect just there. And it looks like it's flowing through the leaves. So let's pop the lid onto that, glue this onto the thing for the back of the card. Let's pop my pin in there before the glue goes all yucky. Oops, come on, get in the end of the pin. There. Oh, why did I do that? I need to pop this back on again and pop this onto this piece here. And I'm going to glue this onto the back of the card. Now you'll know that you've got your card up the right way if you turn it straight around. If you turn it up this way, there's a chance you could get it around the wrong way. So we want to make sure it's the correct way around. Lay it flat again. Pop your back onto the back of the card like so. and I'm really happy with the way that's turned out in the basic grey. That looks beautiful, and I am happy that that looks like it's behind those gold pieces there, which is exactly what I was hoping for. So I'm going to pop these onto here, and I think what I'll do is I will put one down flat, like this one down flat, and as you can see I'm just putting little drops of glue right the way down this, because you don't need to put a lot, it will stick beautifully. And glue that one down flat on that angle there. I have a tiny bit of glue showing there, so I'll just pop that down so that it's nice and flat. Just give him a few seconds to flatten down while I get the other one ready. Come back here, and I'll put this one up on some mini dimensions, and I haven't got any mini dimensions here. Oh my goodness, I'll go and get a few mini dimensions now. I usually have everything on this table, like the dimension parts, so this time I didn't. So I'll pop some of these minis onto some of the bigger leaves, not all of them, because you won't need them on all of them, but we don't want them showing, so we'll pop them onto the ones that are large enough. Oops, come out of there, little thing. And I think that's probably enough. And he will go over the top like so. So I'll pop these off the backs of these. This is the only bit that's a little bit difficult. Come on. I have broken so many fingernails in the last fortnight that they're all just falling off again. They just rip so badly. I have a real problem. I don't bite my fingernails, but they just seem to split really close down to the finger, and it really makes me cross. See this one here, it's split right down the side there, and I absolutely hate the way that happens, but there's not much I can do about it, unfortunately. It's just the way life deals you. Okay, so we've popped that on there like so, and we're going to bring in some what do we call these things? We call these things glue dots. We can pop a couple of those glue dots onto the back of that ribbon. Bring that ribbon down and pop him on the top there when he's not stuck to my finger. Bring the ends of my ribbon down so that they're like so. That looks just beautiful. There we go. And then we'll bring in a couple of these lovely colours here, just to pop a tiny bit of extra colour into the card. I think I'll just pop that one there. What do you reckon? Oh well, yeah, I'm so glad I did that one like that. And that's just so gorgeous. I hope you've enjoyed today's card. I love these pillar cards. I've done two now, two different styles, and I'm enjoying them. So if you've enjoyed them, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. I love to hear from you all. I really do. And don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of my projects. And I will see you again next week. Bye for now.